Hey, what's up guys? This is probably going to be one of the most unprofessional videos ever, but I just want to show this because I've been pretty excited about this. I did a video about a 2.5-inch screen you see right there that has an ESP32 built onto it. And then I've been custom building, kind of prototyping my own little thermostat holder. That way I can mount it to the wall because these are going to control my garage heaters. So this was version 1.0, let's just call it 1.0. And it, it came out okay. I actually kind of liked the way it looked. It turned out a lot bigger than I wanted it to because I created all these little mounting points just to stick it to the wall. See there, it has ridges and everything. And I made that to basically go with this base plate right here. So the idea was if I put this to the wall, I could take this and it would align like, yeah, it would align like that, right? And then the ribs and everything would keep it stuck to the wall. It's not very strong because I wasn't sure on the tolerances, but it was a way for me to keep it on the wall. And what I like, this has the screws and everything, which didn't pan out because, the holes and screws in 3D modeling for me is new. Actually, all of 3D modeling for me is new. But this was the chamber with the removable sensor area that allowed me to put a sensor in there. And that would have its own little chamber with airflow cut off from the rest of the unit. That way it wasn't thrown off by the temperature of anything else. And that was the whole idea of that. So I like this. It did not exactly fit what I wanted. So now I printed off this, which is actually not meant to be a finished product. I printed this off with a few different tests that I wanted to do. So as you can see, that's the LED screen. And in this one, that had a very, very thick wall. So the LED screen was recessed in. So I printed off a much thinner wall, and I'll push this through. So if you can see that, I printed off a much thinner wall, and I really wanted to see how that would sit flush with that. And then on the bottom, I have this whole bottom thing is chambered, which I didn't get it all perfect, but again, this is just a test. And then this is gonna give you an idea of the holder that I have. So this slides in. I slotted this into the 3D print itself, and I made its own little slot with the screw hole. And then this is a BME 280. And that is the idea of you can take this out, you can screw that, you can mount it, you can turn it around if you need to, you can do whatever you want to. And then when you're ready to put that in, it slides right in there. And then boom, you have your BME 280 sensor there. And this entire chamber, which I wanted to open it up again because I only have two sides. I wanted airflow to go from both sides and from the bottom, but nothing from the top. So that whole chamber is dedicated to trying to get this the best temperature and humidity sensor that I could get. So that's pretty cool. It worked out really well for that, although I do have to make a new piece because that was too big. Obviously I had to trim it down, but I am learning things. So when I made things too thin, as you can see, you can kind of see my fingers going through there. Made it just a little bit too thin. I'm going to take a different approach to mounting. And I want to ask you guys, like, what do you think is the best solution here? Because I just made these blocks and I made ridges on the blocks. That way it just has a frictional hold on there. But I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea. I do want the entire case to be flush. I don't want to have any like creases. So that's why I have this like that. That way it's like, it'll stick to the wall and you won't see the creases. But I'm not really sure like a good way to make a faceplate that goes to the wall that this can go over and then not show, the plate underneath it. So if you guys have any ideas on that, I know this is just a completely random video. If you guys have any ideas on that, let me know in the comments section down below. But this is my first time ever prototyping and printing off different like things for this custom solution thing. And I want to use this as my garage heaters, and I also have other screens that I want to use for some other stuff. So I'm kind of excited about this because I've never went through this process of just like designing something in Blender from like complete scratch and then printing it off, testing it out. I had to do some trimming, so I already know what I need to change in Blender in order to make it work. Oh, last thing, if you have ideas for lights, so I want to hook up a red light, like an LED light, a little 3-volt LED light. This hole is not supposed to be a hole. This hole is supposed to go all the way up to the very top and then have like I don't know, a 0.5 millimeter of 3D print plastic over it, and then the LED behind it would just light up the plastic. But obviously the tolerances or whatever, I got that way too thin. So that hole is not really supposed to be there. I made it to where that hole went through all the way to the bottom, just like that. That way I can mount an LED in there. However, I got the hole way too small and the thin cover way too skinny. So if you guys have a better idea for like how to light this up, I'm all ears. I didn't want to put them on the side because I don't want to walk in and see an LED from the side. I wanted it to either point down or just light up something on the front, but I just don't really know how to do that. I've never actually done anything like that. So that's what I'm working on right now. It's super like exciting to me because I've never done any prototyping stuff like this. So I don't know. It's kind of exciting. Let me know if you have any experience in this, have any suggestions. I'm all ears. Later.